We're ready.
All right, you're recording.
All right, great. That was Mark walking across the screen there. Okay, so we're going to be talking about TROPTIONS, which is like one of the main things you guys wanted to know. What TROPTIONS are about, how all of that works. It is January 15th, 2007, Martin Luther King's birthday. I have a dream that one day. No, don't do the I have a dream thing. Lonnie's telling me not to do the I have a dream thing. But I was going to say that I have a dream that small companies and big companies will be free at last. Thank God Almighty. Okay. TROPTIONS is really a word that we came up with, and it stands for trade options. It's, I guess I could take credit for it since I made up the word, but it's a combination of trade and options, trade options. They are similar to what other companies call trade dollars. But I'll tell you specifically what they mean as they relate to GTP. A TROPTION is a specialized financial derivative. And a derivative takes its value from the underlying asset. Like an option is a derivative of a stock. Stock options. If you get Microsoft options, for example, its value is derived from the value of Microsoft, the stock. You may know about options on real estate, for example. If you believe a house is going to go up in value, but you don't want to buy it right away, you might take an option on that house to purchase it. So let's say Ron has a house. Now let's see, he's in California, so you got to start at $500,000 and go up. So
Yeah.
let's say Ron has a house, and I believe that his house is going to go from $500,000 to $600,000. I might say, Ron, I'd like to buy your house for $500,000, and I'd like you to give me the option to buy it for that price for a whole year. And so we negotiate how much I'm going to give Ron for the option to buy his house between now and a year from now for $500,000. Now Ron might do that if he feels the bubble has burst and the prices are not going to go up. They'll either stay flat or go down just a little bit. So to him, let's say we negotiate, I'm going to give him $10,000 for that option. Ron might say, hey, that's just free money. Real estate's not going up within the next year. So this guy will have no reason to exercise this option. And if he does, then I get $500,000, which is all it's worth, plus I get the $10,000. I'm betting on or believing that the house is going to go to $600,000. So if in a year, prior to that option expiring, the house starts to go up towards $600,000, that $10,000 that I gave Ron gives me the right, that option, I have the option of buying Ron's house for $500,000 plus the 10, so I make $90,000 net. Woohoo! Because it's worth $600,000, I get it for $500,000 plus the 10. So options can give you control of the underlying asset. You see, an option is a unilateral contract. Now, some of you that know real estate know the difference between a unilateral contract and a bilateral contract. And if you don't, I'm going to explain it. A bilateral contract is something where both Ron and I have to do something. In a unilateral contract, only one of us has to do something. So in a unilateral contract, I have the option. I can exercise it or not. Ron doesn't have to do anything at that point. I'm the one who, in charge of that. I get to exercise the option. It's unilateral. I paid for the right to do whatever, but not the obligation. Do I have to buy Ron's house between now and the end of the year? No, I have the option. By the way, on this with us here in this particular event, we have Lily, Lily Sophia Ellison, who is dressed in pink, as cute as a button. She's my little granddaughter. And we have Evelyn Harris, my lovely wife. We have Mark Ellison. We have Sophia Ellison. We have Ron, the man, Ronster, Watson. Sir Lonnie Thomas, because we now have to call him Sir and Mr. and all that. Mr. Thomas. He says Mr. Lonnie is fine. We have Sean Grimes of the famous Grimeses. We have Brewer Hong.
Hello.
Also known as Bruce Hong.
Aloha.
And Aloha Nui.
Aloha Nui. That's right.
Mr. Hawaiian Stock.
Occasionally we may hear Lily expressing her opinion on the things that we share. Don't pay any attention to it, it's okay. She's a little girl and she gets to make noises if she wants to.
Troption, please.
Yes. Okay, so do you understand? So you understand about options now. When you take the trade part, which makes it troptions, a troption derives its value from the underlying good or service that it relates to. So you could have troptions, or the right to acquire goods or services. One of those goods could be stock. One of those goods could be a vacation home. One of those goods could be jewelry. The service could be carpet cleaning. It could be hair and nails, having your hair and nails done. It could be house cleaning. It could be house building, as a service. General contracting work or contracting work, electrical, plumbing. These are all goods or services that troptions could acquire. It gives you the option. When you have a troption in your account, it gives you the option to acquire any of the items within the trade exchange. Now we're going to talk a little bit about a trade exchange and what that is. It's sometimes called a barter exchange, and I'll have to go basic because I don't know how much you know, and someone looking at this video might not know as much as you guys. So we'll talk a little bit about what barter is, what a barter exchange is, etc. Barter goes way back. I don't know if it was coupled with what's called the oldest profession. By the way, I don't think prostitution was the oldest profession. I don't. Remember how that's usually said, oh, it's the oldest profession. I don't think so. Because Adam and Eve were in the garden and God told them to dress it and to keep it. So I think the oldest profession has to be gardening or farming, whichever way you want to look at it. Certainly not prostitution. Because with Adam and just Eve there, who could, didn't have a lot of options. There were no troptions there. Anyway, so anyway.
No trade dollars.
Yeah. But barter. Before there was minted coins, before men used any kind of cash or paper currency, the Chinese, I believe, were the first to come up with paper currency, if I remember correctly. Yes. Which amazed the people from the West that came over and said, what are you guys doing? Just a piece of paper? Because they were dealing with gold coins. It had to be stamped with, it's the gold of Ophir. It had to be stamped a certain way, or as far as, if you want to talk coinage, currency. Of course they used gold bars, gold dust, gold nuggets. One of the reasons for gold jewelry, sometimes they would wear their wealth around their neck or on their person, and it was weighed in gold, and they would buy whatever they were going to buy with it. So before minted coins and paper currency, people would just exchange products and services for other products and services. Picasso was famous for, his art, but specifically, he would trade his art with the butcher and with the baker and with the candlestick maker. He was a prolific artist, and he would barter his artwork for other things he could use. You understand? That's basic barter. Maybe you're a shoemaker, and I'm a tailor. I don't know how to, my shoes have to be fixed, and let's see, did I do that right? Whichever is whichever. Okay, I'm the shoemaker, you're the tailor. You stitch up my clothes, and I'll take care of your shoes. And so we just trade that way. They traded, of course, furs and pelts and all these kinds of things. But what would happen if I had a whole lot of tailoring to do, but you only had one pair of shoes that needed any work done. Now we have a problem. Now, how are we going to work this out? It's not a simple one-to-one exchange. Now it's like, well, no, wait a second, Garland. I got a lot more work to do in tailoring than you have to do in the shoes. It doesn't balance out. And these are some of the areas where currencies started to come in, because a currency could hold the value. It could be subdivided into smaller pieces. They used to do that with gold coins. When gold coins were used by weight, they could just clip, like a slice of pie. They'd clip a piece of it off of that coin, weigh that, and use that. Well, it's too much. Okay, let's balance this out. So, paper currency, of course now electronic currency. What is it? Only 10% of the currency in our country is paper currency. Just 10%, or coins. 90% is electronic. So even though there's a lot of counterfeiting going on all over the world, and there are a lot of countries that love to counterfeit our money, and there are places where it's not illegal to counterfeit our money. As a matter of fact, the $100 bill is the most counterfeited bill in the world. 2/3 of our paper currency is not in the United States. It's used outside of the United States. Only 1/3 of paper currency of our $100 bills, 20s, 10s, etc., is actually in the United States.
Wow.
And the reason they really don't do more with the counterfeiting, catching the counterfeit and making it known, is because it would start freaking people out. If you knew how much counterfeiting there actually is, it would be too unsettling. And since it's only 10% of the currency anyway, they don't push it to the degree that they could. Some of the counterfeits are so good they fool the machinery, they fool the experts. They have to take it to extreme levels to really, because they'll print a $100 bill, they'll bleach a $1 bill and print 100 on a $1 bill, so the paper's the same. And they'll buy the equipment to do all this stuff. But now with the copiers and the computer scanners, they can get it so close that, it's an amazing thing. So anyway, to deal with being able to trade goods and services in smaller percentages and to balance it out, we have paper currency, we have coinage. Also, if I wanted to store value, if you have livestock, of course, you got to feed your life. If that's what you're trading with, you have to feed it. Sure, it multiplies. That's a good thing, but you have to have a big space for it. If you're trading cattle, if that's your currency that you own that you're going to use to barter and trade, you got to have land, like here in Texas. You got to feed it. You got to move it from here over to there. You got a lot of things. You have to protect it. With guns and stuff, and hang up those polecats that poach your cattle and all that kind of stuff. So, but, having $100 bills stashed somewhere takes up a lot less space than a cow. So you start to realize, one of the islands, I think it was New Guinea, they had huge wheels. That was their trading currency. A wheel perhaps the size of that table and that thick. They would roll this wheel somewhere to trade. In certain places in Africa, they used shells. I don't know what they used in Hawaii. Maybe puka shells, who knows. But anyway, some places they used little shells. That was their currency. And so they trade these shells. Well, we know the Manhattan Island traded for trinkets. Little glass beads or whatever it was. Stamps have been one of those things that people would use, rare stamps. They could, because they took up a lot less space, they could stash them and move from here to there. And that became very, wealthy people would carry their wealth in stamps sometimes. So, all this kind of stuff. Am I hearing a phone?
My battery's very strong. It's vibrating.
Okay. Yeah, we probably don't want to have phones going off. That won't be good. Because this one will start vibrating too. I can turn it down to alarm only.
There you go.
Okay. Now, barter's been going on for a long time. Nothing really new about barter. What was new in our country was organized barter, which they began to call trading through an exchange. So let's take an actual example. I think I have a pen here.